Nottingham Forest are 2 days away from restarting the Premier League campaign, and boy has the summer flown by. And it all starts at the Emirates. Welcome to your match preview for Arsenal versus Forest. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Whatever time of day you're watching this, hope you're having a fantastic day. And welcome to your preview for Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. My God, the summer has flown by, and we're here already doing our first preview of the season. And what a preview it's going to be. Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking through the predicted Forest lineup, who I think Steve Cooper will play, what formation he will go for, and the style of football that we can expect to see at 12:30 on Saturday. We'll run you through the Arsenal team as well, their likely setup, formation, and players. But before we do all that, if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new. And don't forget to look at this, that Morgan Gibbs White signed, framed LED with a mini TV all built in, all from our good friends at Football Prizes. Go check out the link in the description and get your tickets in before they all sell out. All right, let's get into this. And let's just jump straight into it and go to the Forest predicted lineup. Okay, guys, as it's the first game of the season, obviously it's hard to predict what we're going to see. Well, I say that. I think we all know roughly the type of football we're going to see. But in terms of the team selection, it's going to depend on who's fit and who's not. And I'm making a few assumptions here. Now, things will get cleared up tomorrow in Cooper's presser. We'll bring you the highlights of that afterwards. But I'm going to go on the assumption of a few things that I've seen. Now, the big name at the back, Felipe, 38. I think his number has changed for this season. I think may start. Felipe, we were told throughout the end of the year last year, wasn't always training. They were basically wrapping him up in cotton wool and then rolling out the red carpet and the Rolls Royce on match day. He doesn't really need that much training. He's got that defensive mind. He knows that footballing brain, what he needs to do and when he needs to do. He's released some Instagram footage where he's training, he's doing some heavy weights, etc. So I got a sneaky feeling we may see him rolled out. Now, let me contradict myself. He may actually be saved for the Sheffield United game because Forest may think they're more likely to win that than the Arsenal game. So if Felipe doesn't play, we can expect to see the back three, or it will definitely be a five in this game, of McKenna, Bolly, and Worrell. But there's just something inside me. I think it's more hope. It's more hope than anything that Felipe will start this one. In terms of the wing backs, I've gone for Nico Williams and Einar. I don't think Serge Aurier looks sharp enough yet. I don't think he looks match fit, and he definitely doesn't suit a back five formation as much as he suits a back four formation. And I think Nico Williams is the better wing back. I actually would be tempted to put Einar on the right hand side, and had we seen Omar Richards, I would have put him on the left-hand side. But the fact that Cooper didn't give him any minutes in any of the pre-seasons, let alone name him in any of the squads in the pre-season matches, we definitely won't be seeing him tomorrow. So therefore, I think it's safe to assume that Nico Williams will start at right wing-back and Einar will come in at left wing-back. With Tuffalo being the only other real candidate for that position, I think it's safe to say we may not see Tuffalo. Now, what he could do, if he really wants to play Aurier, is put him on the right-hand side and then maybe Nico Williams on the left or Einar. So there are a couple of options for Cooper there. But either way, I think we will see it as a back five, not as a back three. I think Cooper's going to go for the same style football, and we'll talk about the style in a second, but the same setup, shall I say, as we saw towards the end of last season. That narrow formation, that low block style football. And I can see Danilo, Mangala and Yates being the chosen three. Now, he may tag out Mangala for Freuler. Cooper tends to like to do that. And I just don't think that works well Not in a game where we're playing so deep. And again, I've said it a million times, Freuler is not a 6 by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know why Cooper still persists with that, but he must have seen something in him that I haven't. So I think Mangala and Freuler could be interchangeable in those three, but I definitely expect to see Danilo and Yates starting. And it's going to be one of those dogged midfields. I think that's what's called for in this Arsenal match. The three in the middle need to choke and force Arsenal out onto the wings. And again, we'll talk about that in the second. But that's what I think Cooper's going to attempt to do on Saturday. Now, where it gets interesting, as you can see, I haven't got Jono in, and I haven't got Elanga in, and I haven't got Awoniyi in. Now, I do think Awoniyi is fit, but I don't know if he'll be risked for the Arsenal game. I think, again, a bit like Felipe, he may be saved for the Sheffield United home match. So I've got MGW. I think that's a certainty playing in the hole. It's whether or not Cooper wants to go for a, renowned number 9. I use the term very loosely when putting Chris Wood's name on the sheet. Or he wants to go for a false 9. And I don't think it will be Jono. I don't think we're going to see Jono on the pitch tomorrow. I'm not even convinced he comes off the bench. I just don't see it happening. I think it's between Wood as your out and out 9 or Elanga playing as a false 9. To me, it would make more sense to put Elanga in. If we are going to play low block, and we definitely are, then you need some pace up front. And one thing we can all agree on, happy clapper or not, is that Chris Wood does not have pace. Now, having said that, in a couple of the friendly games, there has been some signs of life from Wood. He has been dropping in a bit deeper to link up the play between the midfield and obviously the wingers and the attacks, etc. And there have been little signs that there may still be a little bit of a pulse in there. But against Arsenal and against Arsenal's pacey defence, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I look at this team and I think, crap. Let's talk about the tactics. Okay, so how will this work? And by the way, when I said crap there, as in, oh crap, we're screwed. Do any of you think we're going to win this match? I don't know. There is hope, though. Let me bring some hope into this equation. Now, last match against Arsenal, we beat them 1-0 with 18% possession. Secondly, there are certain things about Arsenal that are breakable, and it's their mentality. Their mentality is extremely weak. They went into last season without pressure. People would have just been happy, as in Arsenal fans, for them to finish top 4. And what you saw was this gradual development of expectation as they got kind of into the season, were in the lead for the title for 92% of the year. And then as the pressure built up, they cracked. Now, hear me out. What I'm saying here is the expectations of the Arsenal fan base, and we'll have some stuff with our good friends at AFTV for you later on today, where you'll get to hear exactly what they think about their expectations of Forest. But their expectations are clearly going to be push Man City, not necessarily beat them. There are portions of that fan base that think this is the year and they are ready. And that will add pressure onto the Arsenal players. And I think Cooper has to go with these tactics against Arsenal. I think what he's going to do is block out the middle of the park. And that's the key in this. If you are going to play this narrow formation, the banks have to be intact and you have to force Arsenal out onto the wings. And if you can do that, you're forcing them basically into a crossing game. And they're not really a massively good crossing side. Where Arsenal excel above everyone else is those quick 1-2 passes with players overlapping, with players breaking the line, a bit of skill from an Odegaard, playing it through the middle, creating those holes and spaces. Ideally down the middle is what Arsenal want to do. Now, yes, they have Saka and Martinelli down the wing, but they don't tend to cross. Both of them, well, Saka in particular tends to cut in and invert onto his left foot, either to shoot or to play Odegaard in at the edge of the box. It's all very beautiful football, very interlacing. So what Forest need to do is force those balls out wide. And that's why I think Einar will start, because what he has shown is extremely good pace in the preseason. And he'll be coming up against Saka. Welcome back to the Premier League, Einar. And I think that battle could be interesting. If he can keep Saka forced out onto his weaker foot on his right side, maybe forcing him into crossing it, stopping him from cutting in and inverting, he may have some success in dealing with Saka. And it'll be the same for Williams on the right-hand side. Look, I do feel that that's probably our weaker side defensively, because Williams does get done by a fake kick very regularly, commits and overcommits into challenges and sells himself silly and things like that. So if Arsenal go Martinelli down that wing, that's probably where they'll get, their most return. But Cooper does need to keep that middle third absolutely locked down. And I think he can. I think they're used to it now. One thing you can't say is that Forest haven't practiced low block football. They've done it plenty of times. As much as it makes my eyes bleed, they have got it down to almost a T. And if they can add that determination that we had towards the end of the last season, what you really want to see in this match is Forest holding out for 20-25 minutes, just frustrating Arsenal. Let Arsenal have the ball in their own half, but block out that middle in our half of the pitch and stop them from that interlacing play. But it's easier said than done. What do you think of this team, guys? Do you think this is the team that will start? If it is, or you do agree, who would you change? Who would you like to see come in? Do you think we should be going with this narrow formation? I probably would say most of the fan base will agree with the formation, maybe not so much the personnel. I could probably see a few of you wanting to tag out Wood. Some of you guys will probably say to me, Felipe, are you dreaming? But the last one I want to talk about, of course, is the debutant, Matt Turner, who I think will come straight into the team. He'll have had 1 or 2 sessions with the boys, and I think Cooper will chuck him straight in. And against his old club, he would have... It does help. It does help. He'll know which way Saka prefers to cut in, for example, which angle he's most likely to shoot from, all those things. He would have played against all these boys day in, day out at training. So it is beneficial for Forest. And that's why I was surprised that Arsenal did the deal before this game actually happened. So hopefully Turner can get us off to a clean sheet. Do I expect it? We'll get into my predictions in a second. But get your thoughts in on this team down below. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the Arsenal team, and they're probably going to play in a 4-2-3-1. And there are a few players that may come in, may not. Ramsdale, I think, will obviously start in goal. It's Timber really where I'm not sure. They've been playing him at left back for some weird reason. He's not a left back, he's a centre back or a right back. And I think he may come in for Gabriel if Tyranny is fully fit. He has had a few games in the preseason, so could end up in the team with Timber and Saliba. And I think long term, that's probably going to be their best centre-back pairing. Timber, I really highly rate. He's a great, great player. Oh, let's move on to the midfield. You've got Pudding Rice coming in, obviously from West Ham for 105 million. And I think he'll partner up with Partey. With Partey playing as a 6 and Rice playing more as the 8. That can be interchangeable between the two, but I do expect to see it that way round. Into their 3. That's Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka. We've seen this game in, game out all last season. That's the 3 that Arteta likes to go with. And it's a good 3. I do really like Odegaard. I think he's a great puller of the strings in that number 10 position. Now, Saka was off form towards the end of last season. I think he was fatigued, overused. Doesn't really have a understudy in that right wing position. And I think he'll be fresh and ready to go. And I expect to see a good performance out of him. And Martinelli just keeps going from strength to strength. This is a good team. Their one weakness is Kai Havertz. And don't you lot start with the Jinx-Serene stuff. I'm sorry, but he's not a false 9. He's not a 9. He's barely a cam. He can play at an 8. I don't think they know where they're really playing him. And it's just the fact that Jesus is out that they're going to be playing him in that false 9. Which is what they've done pretty much all preseason whenever he's played, when Jesus hasn't, etc. That's their one weakness, but he does nick in with a few goals. And against our defense, he may actually start with a couple into his account. But this is roughly the team I expect to see. The only question mark for me is, does Gabriel come in? If he does Timber get slapped back out on the left-hand side, which isn't his strongest position? And apart from that, the team kind of picks itself, with the one weakness being their number 9. No Jinxerine comments. Okay, so how can Forest get anything out of this game? Well, looking at that team, it's so well balanced. You do look at it and think to yourself, there's not much weaknesses. Their 6 and 8 are going to be really good. But it is a fresh partnership. It's a partnership that may need a few games to nourish and have that chemistry develop between the two of them. In terms of the rest, the defense, Gabriel, for me, is really their only weakness. He's always prone to a mistake here and there. But you take him out of the equation and you put Timber in. You put in pace, both with Saliba and Timber. That's a good pairing. The only real weakness you probably have, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe Ben Scheidt on that right-hand side. Maybe he's not exactly the most prolific right back going forward, but he is good defensively. Remember, he's converted from a centre-back position. I don't know. This is going to have to be low block and then catch him on the counter-attack. Where Forest can maybe get something out of this is, as I mentioned earlier, frustrate them for 20 minutes. Force them to play higher up the pitch. Get Saliba and Timber towards the halfway line. And then go for those goddamn Hollywood balls into Elanga if he's playing as the false 9. Or MGW. Or maybe Danilo breaking through the lines. Something like that. Maybe we sneak a penalty. Maybe Arsenal get a red card. Who knows? This is football. We've seen stranger things happen. But I'm not that confident. I really am. Let's get into the predictions. This is going to be one of those ones where if we can hold them out for 20 minutes, as I keep saying, we're in the game. But I don't know if we can. I really don't. The crowd is going to be up for it. We've had a terrible preseason. It's been shocking. And I don't expect that master switch to be flicked on and suddenly Forest become good, when they haven't really been for the last 7 games over the summer. I don't know. It could be 1-0 to Arsenal. Some of you are going to say 5-0. But playing against low block football, whenever we've low blocked, we haven't really been tonked. Apart from West Ham last season, outside of that, we've kind of held our own. So I think this is going to be 1 or 2 goals in it. I hate to start the season by saying I think we're going to lose, but I got to be realistic. I'm giving this to Arsenal, and I'm going to say it's going to be the old school, boring Arsenal 1-0. So they'll see that as job done, 3 points in the bag. I think Cooper will look at it and think that hasn't harmed our goal difference too much, and he's probably going to be happy with a 1-0 loss. And I don't like to say it, but I think that's the case. Get your score predictions in below. Talk about ending on a sour note. Really. If you've enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV. Stay tuned. We should have some footage for you and some extra content from our boys at AFTV with their thoughts. Come on, you Reds.